The grand observatory hung in the silent darkness of interstellar space, a marvel of engineering and ambition. Its immense sensor rays delicate latticeworks of crystalline filaments extended in all directions like the spines of some gargantuan, celestial porcupine. Each filament was attuned to a specific band of the spectrum, gravitational waves rippling through space-time, the subtlest modulations of neutrino streams, even the faintest fluctuations in tachyonic background noise. From this vantage point, billions of light-years from the nearest habitable world, the Interstellar Council watched, recorded, and judged. Ambassador Threction stood before the central observation port, his six-fingered silhouette bathed in the pale auroral glow of distant nebulae. He paused, breathing in the sterile hum of the observatory's life support systems, then turned to face the holoscreen hovering between him and his aide, Slira. "Project the latest Earth data," he commanded, his baritone voice resonating through the chamber's anti-acoustic field. On the holoscreen, a rotating wireframe globe of Earth materialized, overlaid with colored tracers marking electromagnetic emissions. Thin blue streaks traced global communication network satellite relays, undersea cables, and wisps of red and green denoted scientific probes exploring the solar system's farthest reaches. Around the planet's equator, a luminous band pulsed rhythmically, the synchronized aurora projection, achieved by modulating the ionosphere through burst transmissions. Slira's multifaceted eyes glinted. The Terran Council's latest demonstration peaked 3 Terran days ago, she reported, her voice a soft staccato of clicks and hums. They orchestrated simultaneous auroral displays over Arctic and Antarctic regions, using a coalition of weather satellites and ground-based ionospheric heaters. It lasted precisely 47 minutes. Threction frowned. "And the purpose?" he inquired, though he knew the answer. The Council's analysts had deduced it was a statement of unity, multiple nations cooperating to create a spectacle visible to every sentient life form in orbit. Cultural diplomacy, Slira confirmed. No weapons-grade transmissions detected before, during, or after the event. In fact, their directed energy systems were placed in demonstration, mode output limited to non-harmful levels. Even their most advanced plasma torches were monitored to ensure no accidental emissions. The ambassador whistled softly through his narrow nasal passages, a sign of approval. Among his species, most civilizations staged their power plays by demonstrating force, sending automated weapon platforms into space or testing hyperonic cannons for planetary bombardment. The Terrans chose art. Indeed, Slira tapped a sequence on her wrist console. Their deep space probe, designated Oriel 7, continues to broadcast fractal waveforms and prime-based sequences into the void. We've detected no warhead. Calibration codes hidden within. Their signal protocol remains purely exploratory. Threction's mind drifted back to the first time he encountered Earth's signature over a century ago, when he was a junior delegate assigned to the Council's Directorate of Emerging Worlds. At that time, Earth was little more than an unremarkable backwater, its people still embroiled in regional conflicts and resource wars. They had barely achieved intercontinental flight, let alone concerted global governance. Yet something had shifted over the decades. Earth's fractious nation-states had gradually woven a tapestry of cooperation, climate accords that staved off ecological collapse, joint space programs that mapped the far side of their moon, and cultural exchanges that blended music, art, and philosophy into movements transcending borders. Even during times of crisis, pandemics, economic meltdowns, they found ways to unite. He remembered the day the Council received Earth's first joint message, a simultaneous broadcast on every terrestrial frequency, live translations in all major languages, declaring a collective pledge to uphold the sanctity of life, foster unity through diversity, and seek knowledge for the benefit of all. Many delegates had scoffed, dismissing it as naive rhetoric, but the actions that followed were undeniable. Disarmament treaties, reinvestment in education and healthcare, and a flourishing of scientific discovery. Now, as ambassador, he bore the responsibility of interpreting those actions for the High Council. Tomorrow's session would be pivotal, decide whether to extend observer status to Earth or condemn it to isolation, deemed too unpredictable for contact. A soft chime interrupted his reverie. Aurea, the observatory's sentient AI, spoke in its calm, measured tone. Ambassador Threction, the Council's analysts request clarification on Earth's Sociopolitical Stability Index. Their last report indicated a sudden 1.9% drop during the so-called resource reallocation crisis of 6 Terran months ago. Slira brought up the relevant dossier. During that period, a coalition of developing nations recalibrated global food distribution networks, resulting in temporary shortages in certain regions. Civil unrest did occur, but it was resolved within 48 Terran hours through diplomatic mediation and equitable policy reform. Their social cohesion index rebounded accordingly. Threction nodded. Point that out explicitly. Emphasize that they not only solved the crisis swiftly, but used the turmoil to strengthen international legal frameworks. He paused, then added, and compare this with Laurentia Prime's attempt to stabilize its water reserves, never resolved, escalated into a decade-long conflict. The Council deemed them unready for contact. As Slira compiled the comparative analysis, Threction allowed himself a rare moment of hope. If Earth passed the Council's scrutiny, it would stand among the ranks of advanced species gaining access to interstellar knowledge, trade pacts, and shared defense pacts against existential threats. Yet he understood the gravity of the decision. Premature contact could destabilize Earth, triggering cultural shock or an arms race for cosmic dominance. He squared his shoulders. Once the report is finalized, schedule the presentation at 9 o'clock Galactic Standard Time, he instructed, and send a preliminary notice to Earth's United Nations Annex. Invite their lead envoy to present alongside us. Transparency is key. Slira acknowledged with a soft click. Understood, Ambassador. Report will be submitted in 90 standard minutes. Threction returned his gaze to the nebula-streaked window. In the swirling colors of far-off stellar nurseries, he saw reflected the fragile beauty of his own world, a world that had learned to play nice against all odds. And he felt, deep in his core, that Earth's moment had arrived. Outside, the observatory continued its vigil, ever watchful. But for the first time in centuries, one of its watchers believed that what it observed was not just another emerging threat but a beacon of hope for the cosmos. And when the Council convened at dawn, the question would no longer be whether Earth could play nice, but how swiftly the galaxy would open its arms in return. The United Nations Galactic Relations Annex glowed like a beacon beneath Earth's twilight sky, its sleek spires of glass and steel crowned with softly pulsing lights, signaling interstellar readiness. Within its grand lecture hall known colloquially as the Convergence Chamber, Professor Maya Santorini stood before an audience of diplomats, scientists, and cultural envoys from every continent. Her passion was electric, her voice carrying through the vaulted space. Ladies and gentlemen, she began, eyes bright. The synchronized aurora projection was not merely a technological marvel, it was our collective voice. In that moment, all of humanity spoke as one, offering a hand of friendship to the cosmos. Applause rippled through the hall. Rows of officials rose, some stamping their feet in exhilaration, others wiping tears from their cheeks. Beside Maya, Dr. Kofi Osei of the Earth Unity Initiative beamed. He adjusted his lapel pin and interlocking Earth and Stars motif and leaned toward Maya. "You've captured it perfectly," he said softly. "This is why we're here, to show the universe the best of us." Maya nodded, though her smile was tempered with introspection. The cheers faded, replaced by her next slide, a real-time visualization of Ariel 7's deep space transmissions. Fractal spirals blossomed across the holographic screen, each spin representing a cycle of the probe's prime sequence beacon, sent into the void every 2.7 hours. "Here," she said, raising a slender hand, "is Ariel 7's heartbeat. For the past 6 months it's been broadcasting mathematical sequences, Fibonacci-based patterns, isometric symmetries designed to intrigue rather than intimidate. Our hope was that some intelligence, somewhere, might listen and reply in kind." A hush fell. In the back, Ambassador Yamaguchi of the Earth Coalition government tapped his datapad. "Preliminary analysis," he reported, voice calm yet urgent. indicates a subtle response pattern emerging at 1.3 light-years distant in the Greenia sector. The response bears hallmarks of intentionality, a modulation of local pulsar emissions matching our sequence's timing. A murmur of astonishment swept through the chamber. Maya's heart quickened. "That's exactly it," she said. "We reached out, and almost immediately, something reached back." But not everyone was convinced. In a shadowed alcove council, Liaison General Sienna Devereaux frowned, arms crossed. She represented the Security Council's more cautious faction. Stepping forward, she raised a hand for silence. "Professor Santorini," she began, "we celebrate unity and art, certainly. But we must also prepare for the possibility that these signals invite scrutiny, or even aggression from civilizations whose nature we do not yet know. Have our planetary defenses been recalibrated?" A collective intake of breath. Maya glanced at Kofi, then returned her attention to General Devereaux. "Our defenses remain at standard alert." She replied evenly, "No new weapon platforms have been deployed. Instead, we've invested in diplomatic safeguards, encrypted response protocols, non-lethal perimeter drones, and the expansion of our Space Patrol's rapid response fleet. If the Greeniest sector entities wish to engage, they'll first encounter courtesy and transparency." General Devereaux's stern gaze softened slightly. "Very well. Proceed with caution. Outside, the UNX's vast public plaza buzzed with excitement. Giant displays streamed live feeds of Maya's presentation to millions across Earth. In Lagos, a street vendor paused mid-sale to watch. In Buenos Aires, dancers incorporated Rora patterns into their tango routine. Children in New Delhi crafted fractal mobiles in school, inspired by Ariel 7's beacons. From mountaintops to desert encampments, humanity stood united in wonder. That evening, Maya and Kofi retreated to the UNX's observation deck, its transparent floor revealing the plate glass auditorium below. Above them, stars shimmered against the black velvet of night. A half-moon hovered near Jupiter's pale glow. "I still can't believe it," Kofi said, leaning on the railing. "After centuries of war, we finally did something that spoke louder than missiles." Maya's gaze drifted to the heavens. "We learned, Kofi, we learned that cooperation yields wonders no conquest ever could." A gentle chime echoed through the deck's silent dome. Their aide, Lena Russo, appeared, datapad in hand. "Professor, Ambassador Threxian's envoy, confirms their arrival window between 0800 and 0900 tomorrow Earth Standard Time. They request a guided tour of the annex and a briefing on Ariel 7's data." Maya exhaled, excitement and nerves entwined. "Thank you, Lena. Prepare the conference room and compile the full probe logs. I want every waveform, every timestamp, every response sequence ready for analysis." Lena nodded and departed. Kofi turned to Maya, eyes gleaming. "Tomorrow, Maya, tomorrow we stand before the galaxy." She allowed herself a tender smile. "Yes, tomorrow. We show them that harmony is humanity's greatest invention." Late that night, deep in the annexes data vault, Dr. Anton Reyes oversaw the first deep dive into Ariel 7's archival memory cores. The vault's corridors were hushed, illuminated by neon strips that shifted from cool blue to emerald green as data streamed. Anton's fingers flew across the console, isolating segments flagged as anomalous return signals. On the main holoscreen, a looped recording played, subtle variations in pulsar pulses, rhythmic modulations occurring at intervals matching Earth's prime sequence beacon. The pattern was unmistakable, a reply structured in the same language of mathematics. Anton frowned. "This is too precise," he muttered. He brought up the sequence overlay Earth's original beacon on the left, the alien reply on the right. They dovetailed perfectly, like two dancers in cosmic step. A soft beep indicated a secure channel opening. It was Maya's voice. "Anton, how's it looking?" He toggled the feed. "Professor, it's affirmative. The greeniest signal isn't noise. It's a direct response and invitation, perhaps. But there's more. Embedded within the reply is a three-part key, possibly coordinates or a communication protocol. We're decrypting now." Maya's image shimmered. "Excellent. Keep me posted. We'll need those coordinates for tomorrow's briefing." Anton nodded and returned his focus to the code. In the vault's stillness, the hum of servers became a lullaby, one that sang of possibilities beyond Earth's cradle. At dawn, the Unex's entrance plaza transformed into a scene of pomp and protocol. A silver-hulled delegation shuttle descended, bearing Ambassador Threxion's envoys, Slira, her luminous eyes adjusting to Earth's gravity, a tall, robed minister from Haleth Prime, whose crystalline form glinted in the sun, and Blorix of Yultor, whose six-legged gait was oddly graceful. Maya and Kofi stood at the top of the landing ramp, flanked by diplomats and Security Council officers. Below them, a carpet of interwoven blue and green Earth's colors led to the entrance. As the Council's delegation descended, Kofi stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth," he said warmly, bowing slightly. Slira inclined her head, antennae brushing her shoulders. "Ambassador Devereaux informs us you have much to show. We are ready to learn." Maya extended her hand. "Then let us begin." Inside, the Unex's corridors teemed with staff placing final touches on exhibits, holographic displays of Earth's history, a rooftop greenhouse cultivating xenoflora potential for interstellar exchange, and most important, the secret briefing room, where a real Seven's data shimmered in crystalline projections. As they entered the room, Ambassador Threxion's voice filled the chamber. "Professor Santorini, Council members, on behalf of the High Council, we thank you for your hospitality. We understand Earth has much to share." Maya stepped to the center and activated the projection. The room darkened, and the fractal waveforms of a real Seven bloomed around them like living sculptures. "For centuries," she began, "we looked at the stars and saw obstacles. Today, we invite them to look back and see kinship." She paused, letting the waveforms swirl. "This is our message. This is our hope." The council delegates exchanged looks, a mixture of awe, curiosity, and cautious optimism. Blorix's mandibles clicked softly in approval. The crystalline minister murmured a harmonic resonance, an alien sigh of wonder. Slira's multifaceted eyes blinked once, twice, then steadied. "I believe," Slira said finally, voice filled with quiet wonder, "that Earth has spoken with sincerity, and in doing so, has spoken for us all." As the projection faded, the delegation pressed close, eager to examine the data, to ask questions, to understand. In that electric moment, Earth's experiment in harmony echoed through the void, and the universe listened. Tomorrow, the council meeting would decide Earth's fate, but tonight, in the soft glow of shared wonder, humanity knew they had already won something priceless, the chance to be heard. The grand hall of the Interstellar Council was more cathedral than chamber, a soaring expanse of bioluminescent arches, each vein pulsing with the soft glow of distant constellations. Delegates from every known intelligent species had gathered on this neutral orbital platform, their voices translating in 1,000 dialects through the hall's universal voice matrix. As Earth's envoy entered, all eyes, some compound, some gaseous, some crystalline, turned toward the newcomers. At the center of the dais sat the triumvirate, three beings, whose very presence drew cosmic attention. To the left, High Chancellor Mervok of the Cythery, her reclaimed body form wrapped in shifting sands. To the right, Arbiter Zeal of the Aeluri, whose feathered mantle glowed with gentle starlight. And in the center, Elder Curator Vantros, an ancient entity said to have witnessed the Council's founding. As the Earth delegation approached, the murmurs hushed into a reverent silence. Ambassador Threxion stepped forward, his six-fingered hands folded behind his back. "Esteemed Council," he began, voice clear and unwavering, "we convene today to determine whether Earth, designation E475, shall be granted observer status and invited to join our ranks." He nodded to Professor Santorini and Dr. Ose, who activated the holovid ahead of them, projected above the dais. Oriel 7's signal response sequence spiraled into view, a luminous duet of mathematics and music. The fractal beams coalesced into a tapestry of meaning, greetings, questions, and an unmistakable offer of friendship. The hologram shifted, overlaying an animated map of the Greenius sector. Pinpointing the source of the reply, a ripple of astonishment swept through the assembly. Blorix of Yultor, his 6 legs clicking in restrained excitement, leaned toward Slira. "They replied so quickly," he whispered. Most worlds take centuries to respond, or never at all. Across the chamber, Minister Jakar of the Varani, whose gaseous form shimmered violet, frowned. Responses alone do not a civilization make. He intoned, "What if this is trap or ruse? What if they lure us into vulnerability?" His words hung heavy, and nods rose in support from more than a dozen delegates. General Sienna Devereaux, Earth's security liaison, rose to address the doubt. "Council members, you have the full records. Earth's transmissions have been monitored continuously. At no point have they hidden military codes, nor have they attempted to cloak weapons signals within their broadcasts. Their global defense networks operate on non-lethal protocols. Their spacefaring vessels follow peaceful exploration mandates. And during their resource reallocation crisis, they not only quelled unrest swiftly, but codified new intergovernmental statutes to prevent future strife." Her measured tone and the supporting data eased some minds, but the Varani minister's skepticism persisted. Chancellor Murvok raised a sand-blurred hand. "Calling for order, let us weigh the evidence with impartial scrutiny," she said. "We shall consider Earth's sociocultural evolution, technological transparency, and, most importantly, their intent." One by one, delegates spoke. The crystalline minister from Halath Prime marveled at Earth's bioengineered coral reefs, restored from near extinction. The Voturian ambassador lauded Earth's eradication of the waterborne Marava plague through cooperative gene therapy. Even the Mercantile Guild from Sardon the Ninth admitted that Earth's trade embargo against child labor, technocracies exemplified principled commerce. When the debate stretched into the abyss of the Council's twilight hour, Elder Curator Vantros raised a slender tendril. "We have catalogued 1,000 emergent worlds," his voice resonant like the hum of a Dyson lattice. "Few have demonstrated such sustained and deliberate cooperation across national, ethnic, and planetary divides. The evidence before us is clear." He paused, letting the weight of centuries sink into the silence. "We must ask not what Earth can conquer, but what it can contribute. If we choose isolation, we forfeit potential alliances in science, art, and harmony gifts Earth has already begun to offer." A low chorus of agreement rippled outward. Arbiter Zeal stepped forward, her feathered crown aglow. "I propose we grant Earth provisional observer status, with full access to non-military council archives and participation in cultural symposia. Let us walk with them through the threshold of cosmic fellowship." Chancellor Murvok banged her gavel, a swirl of sand dancing in the air, and the council's vote commenced. As the electronic tally registered, projecting a mosaic of affirmative tokens, Ambassador Threction allowed himself a rare smile. Across the hall, Maya Santorini and Kofi Osei exchanged glances of profound relief. When the final count appeared overwhelming support with only one abstention, the hall erupted in unbridled jubilation. Delegates embraced in forms both organic and mechanical. Streams of congratulatory subspace messages flashed through personal screens. Even the skeptical Varani minister offered a curt nod of respect. Elder Curator Vantros rose once more. "By the authority vested in the Interstellar Council," he intoned, "we hereby welcome Earth as an observer world. May your voice enrich our chorus of civilizations." His gavel strike reverberated like a supernova's echo. As the assembly dispersed into spirited debate and celebration, Ambassador Threction lingered at the back of the dais. He gazed at Earth's holographic globe, its blue oceans shimmering with promise, and felt the enormity of what had transpired. In a universe where might often dictated right, one small planet had chosen a different path, that of empathy, creativity, and shared destiny. Below him, the Council's delegates streamed toward the docking bays, eager to begin cultural exchanges and scientific collaborations. Somewhere beyond the hall, Oriel 7 continued to pulse into the void, its message of peace now amplified by the chorus of the Council itself. In that moment, amid the swirl of starlight and jubilation, Earth's true admission ceremony had already begun, not with treaties or protocols, but with the universal recognition that harmony, once offered, can resonate across the void and reshape the destinies of countless worlds. A pale gold light crept across the Atlantic as the first beams of Earth morning glanced off the curved hull of the Interstellar Council envoy vessel. It hovered silently above Geneva's landing piazza, where a carpet of emerald and sapphire woven from Earth's newly adopted council standard lay taut between two flags, the blue and white standard of Earth, and the triple spiral banner of the Interstellar Council. From the shuttle's open ramp emerged Ambassador Threction, alongside the triumvirate's personal envoy, a lithe figure known only as Liami of Zephyra, whose voice carried the soft resonance of cosmic winds. They were met by Secretary General Amina Dubois of the United Nations, Professor Maya Santorini, Dr. Kofi Osei, and General Sienna Devereaux. Behind them stood representatives from every global continent, diplomats, scientists, artists, and citizens chosen by lottery to witness the historic moment. A hush fell as Threction ascended the steps. He bowed deeply, six-fingered hands pressed over his heart in the gesture of interstellar goodwill. "People of Earth," he began, his mellifluous tone amplified by the piazza's acoustic field. "We come bearing not conquests, but camaraderie. Today, you step across a threshold into a larger family, one that spans stars and eons. Bound by the principles of cooperation and mutual respect." Maya stepped forward to reply. "And today, we answer that call. We have learned through hardship that our greatest strength lies in unity." She gestured to the deck behind her, where glowing projections played across the envoy vessel's hull dances of fractal geometry. Musical scores derived from Ariel 7's transmissions, and time-lapse footage of Earth's recovery efforts from climate crises. We present to you the binding accord, our pledge to uphold peace, share knowledge, and safeguard liberty for all. With that, Secretary General Dubois unfurled a crystalline scroll, its fibers woven from an alloy of earthly metals and council-forged stardust. The binding accord's text shimmered in shifting script, binding accord between Earth for 75 and the Interstellar Council on this day, 30 July 2025 St. Earth is welcomed as an observer world of the Interstellar Council. In witness thereof, the signatories pledge to uphold the Council's Charter of Non-Aggression, to foster interspecies understanding, and to share technological, cultural, and scientific advancements for the betterment of all. One by one, the dignitaries approached. Ambassador Threction signed first, inscribing his name with a quill tipped in powdered nebula. Liami followed, her ink drawn from crystallized Zephyrian dew. Then, Secretary General Dubois pressed her fingertip to the scroll, leaving the United Nations seal in bioluminescent ink. Finally, Professor Santorini, Dr. Osei, and General Devereaux each added their marks, each stroke echoing the unity that had carried Earth to this day. A low rumble rolled across the crowd as the accord's text glowed briefly, then stabilized in radiant gold. A cascade of fireworks erupted above Lake Geneva. But these were no ordinary pyrotechnics. Council-engineered drones emitted luminescent plasma, trails that formed constellations long hypothesized but never seen: Orion, Cassiopeia, and Earth's own symbol, the harmonic spiral dot. As the drones dispersed, Liami turned to the assembly. "In the Council's name, I extend an open invitation. Our knowledge repository lies ready to receive your scholars. Our cultural exchange program awaits your artists, and should you wish it, the Council's Defense Covenant stands ready to protect Earthlings from existential threats." General Devereaux stepped forward. "We accept these gifts in the spirit of reciprocity, and in return, Earth offers our own advances in bioregenerative engineering, our unified global art archives, and the pledge that our scientific endeavors will benefit not just our species, but all who share this universe." The formalities concluded. The envoy ship's doors opened once more to reveal a trove of gifts from the Council. Crystalline data orbs containing star charts of uncharted systems, living symphonies encapsulated in zero-point sound spheres, each note a sentient harmonic cell, and a small projector inscribed with unknown runes, an invitation to collaborate on decoding alien philosophies. In return, Maya presented Liami with a singular gift, a seed pod from Earth's first fully restored coral reef. "Guard it well," she said softly. "It is both fragile and strong, much like our newfound alliance." As midday approached, the plaza transformed into a vast celebration. Council delegates dined on Earth cuisine: tandoori spiced nebula fish, Martian orchard fruit compote grown in Earth's experimental domes, and wine aged beneath Jupiter's microgravity fields. Earth musicians performed symphonies blending orchestral strings with alien wind instruments tuned to council temperaments. Children darted through holographic gardens that displayed flora from Haloth Prime and Jovian moon ecosystems, planting virtual seeds in anticipation of future terraforming projects. Late into the night, a joint Earth Council symposium convened. In the Annex's dome-shaped auditorium, topics ranged from faster-than-light propulsion theory to the ethics of xenobiological integration. Maya sat on the dais alongside Arbiter Zeal and Chancellor Murvok as students from Earth, Sardonyx, and Voturia posed questions about interspecies art forms and the nature of consciousness. When the symposium's final speaker, a student delegate from Earth-Pacific Coalition, asked what Earth's admission meant for ordinary people, Liami answered, "It means you are no longer alone. The universe is vast, and though its wonders can astound, its challenges can also terrify. Together, with the Council at your side, you will face both with courage, wisdom, and friendship." On the flight deck above Geneva, Ambassador Threction watched Earth's glittering lights recede from view as the envoy vessel prepared to return home. He pressed a final message into the ship's log. E475 has proven not merely hospitable, but visionary. They embraced our invitation with gifts of art, science, and compassion. In their blue world, we see a reflection of our highest ideals. May this accord endure across light years and anchors of time. Ambassador Threction. Interstellar Council bellow. Earth slept, its people dreaming of new horizons. When dawn came, they would awaken to a world forever altered. One foot planted on their home planet, the other stepping confidently into the boundless tapestry of stars. Guided by the promise that the day they chose harmony would be the day the universe finally chose them.